St. Patrick's Day corgis.
I know, you've already said that.
Yeah, well, I don't know what you're cutting.
I don't know what I'm cutting either. That's fair.
I mean, yeah. I just was like, well, we're recording this. The 2 episodes are like before and after St. Patrick's Day. So I was like, I'll just do that.
Okay.
Because a lot of people do that for March, I feel like. Instead of making it just a day, it ends up being a good chunk of the month.
Well, here's what I was going to suggest. So I've been watching this podcast called the Creep Time Podcast, and they do a whole month of October is all Halloween costumes, and then they did ones in Christmas too.
Okay. I was like, 2 Girls, 1 Ghost did costumes for Halloween.
But all
or October.
Yeah, all of October. So I was like, we could dress up as different celebrities all October.
I don't know about that. That sounds like a lot of effort.
Yeah.
How much effort do you want? Well, I guess we record multiple at a time.
I barely
so
have time to shop for the Halloween costume I genuinely want to go as. So
that's fair. Same. Yeah. Yeah. But I feel like people come to Nashville and it's like, even if it's not actual St. Patrick's Day weekend, if it's in March, I still see people downtown wearing St. Patrick's Day stuff.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I saw some like even last week, which was like the very end of February. So
I know. I was thinking today, I thought March was almost over and that it's only the 10th.
No, it's only the 10th. And it feels like it should be like the 20th. So.
Yeah.
But that's been this whole year's. Every month feels like its own years. So I don't know what's going on where it's just, it feels like it's going by slowly.
These smell new again.
Oh,
it's nice.
Interesting. Probably because they're in a new case. And so it got the new smell of the case on them.
They smell yummy.
Okay.
I love like new foam smells.
Okay.
It's like when we got new dorm, and you know how those the stairs smelled like new rubber the whole day. Oh, it was amazing. Every day I was like, until someone started spilling stuff in the hallway, and then it started to smell nasty, and I was like, okay.
I feel like I got judged last night because I bought myself a puzzle for Christmas, and I finally am actually starting it. But when I like opened the bag, I smelled it, and Sam looked at me weird. Like, it's the new puzzles.
Puzzles I don't smell. It's like books. Books still like to me don't smell good even if they're new. Like I just don't like book smell. But again, I have my own weird smells. Like I like foam and rubber and
That's fair. That's fair. Everyone has their own little thing. Yeah. So yeah. Well, hello everybody.
Hello, welcome to the Music Lens podcast. It's been a hot little second here.
It has been, yeah.
Due to some personal reasons from both Katie and I, we decided to take a break and really focus on some rebrand stuff. So you'll see our fabulous new pictures finally.
Figured we kind of ran out of time because of some time constraints, like you said, for stuff. But we're like, well, if we're not doing an episode, this is good timing of getting the rebrand that we've been working on and get it out there. So, do you like it? Let us know
so
in the comments
and they
below.
have our new comfort pants on, and you can use our code in our Instagram bio.
Yes, we have a little link tree, and it's on there.
And it's 15% off. If you use our link, you get a free discount.
A free discount.
You get a free discount.
Free discount to spend less money.
But the prices of comfort pants and shirts are already, like, they make it so affordable. Like, you can buy stuff in advance to make it cheaper if you want. And then buying them quickly in sets also makes it a little cheaper. And then they always are dropping new things. And we got the pastel collection because we just thought it fit with our brand really well. But
I've been seeing it on TikTok a lot. And there's, like, an olive green that's new.
Ooh, that's pretty, I'm sure.
So I'm like, okay. Because I don't have a hoodie yet.
I want the yellow ones so badly. I want the, like, shorts or, like, the t-shirt and, like, a pair of sweatpants. So
yeah, but also I kind of just want the baby blue hoodie so I can be just, like, all one color.
But they're
we'll see.
Super soft, super comfy. Don't lose that in the wash. I've washed them a couple times so far, and they're still, like, brand new. Nothing has pilled and, like, gotten all weird on the inside. They're still super soft, super comfortable, and they're weighted for anxiety, and mental health is a big thing. Why we started the podcast. That should just be a t-shirt slogan at this point. Why did we start the podcast? Was because we wanted to address mental health in the industry, and all this stuff really plays into like maybe why it gives you a little bit of perspective, even if you're an outsider watching this podcast and just want to understand the music industry a little bit more, because I do think it's fascinating. Maybe not everybody thinks it is. I know we're definitely like geeks about it because we're in the industry, so like to us it's so interesting. But I got a little bit of perspective on that when I was at the Lee Brice show for something. I was taking photos, and one of my coworkers went to that as well, and she said she could have taken a little bit less of his talking, and because it's called Me and My Guitar Tour, so he literally like plays a song that goes along with the story that like encompasses his life. So he goes through like, I was in this stage of my life when this happened, and then he plays a song. So for me, it was like the perfect amount of talking. It felt really intimate. Like you got the details behind the story, and like it's so cool, but she could have cared less for the talking. So I realized that I was like, oh, I guess not everyone, because even my mom, like she is kind of music industry geekiness, but also she's like, you had a hair on your mic, sorry. Okay. She's not directly in it, and she doesn't have a desire to be in it. So I'm like, I grew up with parents that loved to learn about the music industry still, but I don't know if that influenced why I wanted to also be in the industry, and they like got even more excited with my interest in it. So, but that show was really good. I don't know if I ever talked about that show on here, but so little life updates, since unless you have a really deep topic today, but extensive topic, I should say, not deep. I know what it is.
We'll be fine. Okay. We'll see what happens.
Little life update.
Are you asking me?
Yeah, do you want to do a life update?
Oh.
No? Do you have any updates?
I don't know.
Okay.
I thought you had a life update that you were sharing. I was like, oh, okay.
No. I have started to roll out new things.
Yes.
Which is exciting.
Yes.
It kind of paired perfectly with us doing new things on the pod here. And if you guys want us to work out doing another content day, please comment content day in the comments below. Share with your friends. Do all the things, because I would love to do that again. I'm starting to get a little bit free now. Yeah. And this week, I feel like I might... Future Alex, do you regret how busy you made yourself? Because right now I'm really on the like go kind of spree right now. And I'm forcing myself to do it because I've been out of doing my own music for a little bit now. So I'm like forcing myself to get back into doing any free time has been like picking up extra things. So like since I have this week I literally add something every day, and I even added that show on Thursday that they rescheduled now. So now I have a free day. But this weekend is our last weekend of shows for my musical, which will be exciting. Yeah. And I got to actually play my parts. So one of the girls got sick, and I got to be the part that I really wanted to be this weekend. Okay. So, I mean, obviously I didn't want her to get sick, but I was really happy I got to play my part, and I did it so well. I was like all proud of myself. So,
yay. And your mom was in town, so there you go. That worked out well.
Yeah. And my boyfriend came to one of them too, so that was nice. Cool. And then this weekend's the last weekend, and then I'm finally like kind of free, and so I'm just trying to start booking and talking about tours potentially, and comment if you want to see us this summer. Not maybe a podcast tour,
right?
Unless this podcast somehow blows up tremendously in the next couple days.
Yeah,
I also don't know what we would do if we did a live tour. But I guess like podcasts go on tour all the time.
Yeah,
I feel like it'd be like a writer's round question type of situation.
Yeah. I think we talked about it when we like first started, of just like someday ideas of doing like going to Belmont or other music programs and like talking there, because it's like students that are actually studying the music business. So then it's like a Q&A format kind of thing. So I don't know about like general public shows. I mean, it could be open to the public, but like geared around college programs. If you want us to
figure that out, comment below as well.
I don't know. We'll see. Yeah. Or just like, yeah, I don't know. Just story time. Take audience stories and just read and react. I don't know. I know that's the thing that some people have done, so.
Yeah, that's like the Reddit podcasts do that kind of stuff, I know.
Yeah. Ladies and Tangent's first 2 live shows, I think, was kind of similar to that, where they just took like audience stuff and read them, so. I don't know. People do that, but it's kind of, we're niched a little bit, so.
We are.
Yeah. Anyways, it's Women's History Month.
Yes, it is.
So we're doing another Women's History Month episode like we did last year. We went and got like updated statistics from, we did statistics last year. If you haven't watched or listened to last year's episode, and they do the same study every year and like update the numbers. So I figured we can go through that. But before that, do you pay attention to like the actual toy like Barbie doll brand at all outside of just like the Barbie movie?
I've seen them do little like red carpet like promo stunt type things, like Barbie's on this carpet and that kind of stuff, but like that's about it.
I don't remember if that was.
And I know that they recently have done some Women's History Month Barbie
that's
dolls.
what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
So I guess they do it yearly of like a career of the year to highlight something.
Kind of like an American Girl doll of sorts.
Yeah, I guess kind of. Yeah.
Like they have their special.
Yeah, because they have Girl of the Year.
Yeah.
But this one's just like career of the year because Barbie has all these careers. And so 2025 is Women in Music. And they have a musical artist and a tour manager. Oh. So I like that they have the industry side of it too. So yeah, I just kind of.
Who are they?
They're just dolls, I guess.
Oh,
like
so
they don't have
like
to be
actual person. Okay.
They do have like an Alicia Keys doll. Kind of connected, but then they have like generic, just like musical artist and tour manager Barbie. But they have
Barbie. Do they have a bus? They should have a bus because you know what? Growing up, I had the RV as a kid and I freaking loved that thing. They should have you know why? Because I had a Hannah Montana Barbie and Oliver and Lily, and she had a tour bus and I had the tour bus, and we used to play on the tour bus. Okay. And then I made my Barbies play on the tour bus. Because it was Universal as a tour bus.
I know. Okay, so they
used to have tailgate parties.
The like generic one. The generic ones. And then they made like, let's see, they're auctioning off the ones that look like Alicia Keys.
Oh, okay.
And then there's also Alicia Keys's award-winning recording and mix engineer, Anne Mincielli, if that's how you say her name. And I think the auction is like going towards the She Is the Music, which is Alicia's nonprofit organization. So they do have dolls that are specific to people in the sense of the ones they're auctioning off, but like the ones that anyone can just go and buy are the generic, like not named after anybody or look like anybody ones. So.
But if you want, Mattel, you can use my tour bus idea. I give you permission.
I mean, the musical artist I could see looking kind of Alicia Keys-esque if she did like a big afro type hair, but I don't know if she's ever done that. Has she?
I don't know. I don't follow Alicia Keys very closely, although she is my birthday twin. Fun fact for you.
Fun. And tour manager Barbie has a little like lanyard for having access, I guess.
It needs to say
her laptop. Yes, we love it. So I thought that was cool that they were doing Women in Music for Career of the Year.
Knew that they had some like sports figures that had their own dolls. That's what I thought you were gonna say.
Okay, no. I think a couple people shared it on their Instagram stories. It was like, wait, what is this? So cute. That's why I looked into that. But yeah, we're going to do the statistic stuff now. And then I have some stuff at the end of just like within 2024 of like top things that have happened for women in music of certain artists things.
Because I've definitely been seeing, I follow a couple like She Is the Music and those types of specific like women breaking down barrier type Instagrams for music. And I know they've definitely said that that women have definitely been at the forefront of a lot of, like, especially in pop music right now. Like, they're definitely in the forefront of everything. And, like, they dominated at the Grammys and things like that.
So this is the USC Annenberg Inclusion Initiative, which is the same study we did last year, except for, like I said, this is updated for January 2025 was when it was updated. And so this is the inclusion in the recording studio study. And so it kind of covers like artists, songwriters, producers, and then it talks about the Grammy Awards and comparing the nominees and winners for this year as well. So first I have the artists, and there were 130 artists that appeared on the Hot 100 year-end chart for 2024. Men accounted for 62.3% of performers, and women accounted for 37.7%. So that's a ratio of 1.6 men featured on the chart to every one woman. So
damn,
it's
is that better than last year or worse?
Percentage of women appearing on the list was not different from 2023. So it's 37.7 in 2024, 35 in 2023. So okay. They say not different.
A little better.
Because it's so close, I guess. Yeah. But numerically, fewer women appeared on the list this year. However, the percentage of women on the chart was significantly higher than 2022, which was 30.2%, and then 2012 was 22.7%. Okay. And I want to say, okay, so the study started in 2012. So that's why there's references back to that, because that's the first year that they did this study. And 2024 was the highest percentage of women across the whole 13-year sample. So that's a good thing. It's getting there.
Slowly climbing.
And women artists had the highest percentage in pop and R&B genres. Roughly a third of all pop songs and a quarter of R&B songs credited women as artists. And then, so that's 35.9 for pop, 25.2 for R&B, country 16.8%. So I figured I'd include that as well since we're Nashville and talk country. 2024, 38.9% of single performers were women. This percentage was slightly lower than 23, but no different from 2012. There are no women on the Hot 100 year-end 2024 chart participating in duos or bands. So they're all just like single performers. And Drake led the males and all artists with 56 unique songs across the 13-year sample. Justin Bieber clocks in with 25. The Weeknd
from all. Okay, I was like Drake. I think Kendrick beat up Drake this year. So no, this is within the sample
for 13 years. Justin Bieber's second, 25. The Weeknd and Morgan Wallen tie at 18. For women artists, top three performers were Nicki Minaj with 27, Ariana Grande with 25, and Taylor Swift with 24.
Ariana surprises me. I feel like she doesn't put out that many singles, but
it's like within 13 years, so there's like.
But still, I don't feel like
she was putting out more. I feel like back in like 2014, if you think within like towards the start of the 13-year period, so.
Even still,
I don't know.
That feels like a lot. Comparatively, like if you think about it, it just feels like a lot.
I don't know. Songwriters.
Don't come for me, REaters or whatever you guys are called.
I don't know.
Don't come for me.
Songwriters is next. Of the 461 songwriters credited in 2024, 80.9% were men, 18.9% were women, and 0.2% were gender non-binary. And this is a ratio of 4.3 men to every one woman songwriter credited on the charts. There is no meaningful change in the percentage from 2024 compared to 2023. However, this also means that the gains made by women songwriters between 22 and 23 were not lost. So there's that. 2024 is also 7.9 percentage points higher than 2012. So
I want to say that's really surprising, but I'm like thinking even like on a small scale, because I think like obviously you and me, right, with like mostly women.
Yeah.
But then I see people who are like signed and all this stuff and think it may be like two at most in the room, and then like 1 to 2 guys in the, like there's always a guy, it seems like, in most rooms that I see writers
for
with
signed. Yeah.
So
for all the 13 years evaluated, 85.9% songwriters men, 13.8% women, 0.3 gender non-binary. The overall ratio of men to women across the 13 years is 6.2 to 1. So that's sad. 26 songwriting credits on the Billboard Hot 100 year-end chart went to underrepresented women writers, and this is a significant downturn from 2023, but an overall increase from 2012. So it like went down. Women were most likely to work as songwriters in pop, which was 20.9%, followed by dance electronic at 19.6%, and women were outnumbered by men in every genre. Even in pop, the ratio of men to women songwriters 3.8 to 1. So outnumbered everywhere, but pop is the most popular of, or the genre to have the most women songwriters. Producers in 2024, there were 237 producers credited across the most popular songs of the year. And of these producers, 94.1 were men and 5.9% were women. So this is no change compared to 2023 or 2012.
When I was even going to say, I feel like the reason that songwriters too are mostly men, like it's obviously changed, but I think it's also because a lot of artists now work with their producers so closely that like, and producers are so much more outnumbered by men than women in that respect. So like if you think even Taylor Swift, it's just her and Jack a lot of times because it's producer and songwriter, and like they co-mingle and they co-do it, and that's kind of it. But then if you think of and if you think of even like Kelsea Ballerini, like she went on that girls trip, but then she writes just with her producer, and her producer happens to be a woman. So then it's just like that commingling there. So, but yeah, I was going to say a lot more male producers, and that's, I think there's still a lot of barriers to be cut down with that. And I think that's still just very stereotyped that men, because it's like engineering and it probably has to do with like that STEM kind of mind sense about it. And it's not as creative, but it is creative. But, you know, I think like people get, I still have that underlying bias, unfortunately. Mm-hmm.
This says across the 10 years examined. So I'm wondering if they didn't start doing the producers in this study until like a little ways into it. Probably. I'm guessing what that means, but across the 10 years examined, in a total of 2,209 producers, the ratio is 27.3 men to every 1 woman producer. So, yeah. Grammy Awards. So, the analysis of Grammy Award nominees covers the 6 major categories, which are Record of the Year, Album of the Year, Song of the Year, Best New Artist, Producer of the Year, Songwriter of the Year. I'm saying them fast because we've been over this, but I just refresh. In 2025, there were 178 Grammy nominees overall. Of these, 77.3% were men, 22.7% were women, and there was only 1 gender non-binary individual nominated in 2025. The ratio for men to women is 3.4 men nominated to every 1 woman nominee. So, not great, but also not as bad as producers, I guess. 2025, not different than 2024. However, 2025 is significantly higher than the percentage of women nominees in 2013. And 2021 remains the year with the highest percentage of women nominees at 28.1%. Across 13 years, women comprised 15.2% of all nominees across major Grammy categories.
That's so surprising, too, because I really feel like thinking about all the nominees this year, it feels like it was mostly women.
Right.
So I'm like, how? Yeah,
I guess all those other categories that aren't televised are like a lot of men then, maybe.
Yeah.
But women were most likely to be nominated for Song of the Year, 29.6%, and Best New Artist, 46.5%, across all 13 years. And they comprise the least number of nominations for Album of the Year with 11.2% and Record of the Year 12.3%. While a new edition was made in 2025, women still trail significantly in nominations for Producer of the Year, 2.9%. Since its introduction in 2023, women now comprise 57.1% of all nominations for Songwriter of the Year, though. Which is interesting because this was the first year that a woman won Songwriter of the Year, but yet they're just over the majority of nominees in that category. Yeah. So that's interesting. You made a noise like you were about to start a sentence.
Well, I was just thinking of things in general, and then I was trying to wrap my head around how to say it.
Yeah.
Appropriately. Because I feel like women a lot of times get the speech of like, you're a dime a dozen, and it's so praised when men are doing these like very artistic things, like, oh my gosh, like, especially because I'm in musical theater world right now, and it's like, oh my gosh, we need men all the time because no one signs up, and then it's just like, it's amazing when a guy can sing and act and do all these things so well.
Right.
Yet women kind of get the you're a dime a dozen thing, but also the fact of the matter is that like every man kind of gets put on such a pedestal, and then women get like nothing.
Yeah.
Because we're treated like, oh, well, the next one's right around the corner, and we have to be like extra talented and unique in some different way that makes you stand out and makes people want to care about you. It's just interesting to think about, like, how many women and stuff there are in high school choirs and all this stuff, but yet, like, we don't get a chance to make it at all, and, like, the one or two guys that could sing out of your high school choir can, like, make it.
Yeah.
But then they get everything from awards to charts to all this stuff, and then women are kind of just like, well, if supposedly we're a dime a dozen, then how come we can't sustain anything? Like,
yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah. That's a good point. So, conclusions from the study is progress for women artists on the popular charts has stalled. Annually, percentage of women artists on popular music charts offers a gauge of how many women participate in the highest profile positions in music. Since 2012, women have made significant strides in this arena, reaching 37.7% of artists in 2024. While worth celebrating, there's still a significant gap between women on the charts and women in the U.S. population and in the audience of popular music. Moreover, in 2024, the percentage gain for women artists is due to a numerical decline in men on the year-end charts. Women are also largely confined to only 2 genres, whereas men work across all of them. This means that there is still more to do to bring women's voices, talent, and work to larger audiences. And then the other... Oh, there's multiple. I forget what I did. It's fine. Women behind the scenes see little progress in 2024. So the previous iteration of the report, which measured 2012 to 23, was the first time there was a significant increase in the percentage of women songwriters working on the Billboard Hot 100 year-end charts. In 2024, no further increase, but women also did not lose ground relative to men. While this is an important finding, it does not reflect an inertia in the industry when it comes to women behind the scenes. Similarly, there was no increase for women producers. Result is that men in these positions continue to receive more opportunities to write and produce songs that gain popularity, notoriety, and importantly, generate revenue. More than a quarter of the 1,300 songs evaluated were written by the same 12 men, which means that a narrow worldview is offered to listeners. Moreover, while there is no difference in the percentage of men and women once they reach the popular charts, the divergence between the number of total song credits earned by the most popular writers is clear. Most of the women who appear most frequently are also artists, while the majority of men are primarily songwriters. This suggests that women can have a significant career as a songwriter only if they also perform their work. Men are faced with no such constraints. The same is true for producers. Well-known women artists who produce their own work may make it to the popular charts, but men need not have artist as a prerequisite to fill a producer role. So I thought that was
that's very
interesting too. Of kind of have to be an artist if you're a woman to also be a songwriter and producer, which is weird.
Yeah. I think I've slowly seen on TikTok and stuff, and like I said with Kelsey's producer, she's just a producer and I think a songwriter. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And there's definitely a couple women on TikTok that are just really trying to make it as purely a producer. So yeah. I think right now, too, we're in such a transformative time, obviously, here in America. So I think definitely the way that women perceive artists on stage. I think Sabrina Carpenter has been such a great role model for that like women want to go and support other women and identify with their sexuality and just be open and free about their lives a lot more. And it's not all about like, oh, the cute guy singer that's up on stage, which used to be kind of the like it factor, you know, with all the boy bands and stuff like that. And that's really why like that kind of stuff takes off. And why I think it's always been tough with the genders things is it's like a lot easier to push a cute guy because girls will buy tickets easier. But now I think we're in such a transformative like embrace your womanhood that like seeing artists like Sabrina who do that on stage is like such an appeal to women now that it encourages more women in the scene, I think. And people like Doechii who like raps about and uses R&B in like such a different way to do that as well, and talks about her anxieties and things of that nature. And I think things are just definitely hopefully changing for the better. I know we've kind of stalled here, but it's also like it's one of those fights that it's like it's continuously fighting, and I think people are just done just like I think we're kind of all done just biting our tongues and like actively working day by day, even if it's like a little bit. It's not these big grand gestures right now, but it's at least a little bit of a fight every day to not just sit by. And at least I hope so. That's how I feel about life right now. So maybe it's just me, but again, it's one of those things that's just like you have to keep going, and it's not us just continuing to shove it in people's faces. It's just like a continue little fight every time, and hopefully it just gets a little easier every day. So.
Yeah, for sure. The Grammy Awards conclusions is that it maintains momentum, and so overall women did not fare better in 2025 Grammy nominations, but they also didn't fare worse in 2024 when they reached a new high point. So 2024, I'm assuming we probably talked about it, last year's episode was a high point for women with the Grammys. So at least it's like stayed, and then hopefully next year can be like another increase as far as like continuing that momentum.
Yeah, but then again, like I said, I also feel like women did have like the first songwriter to get a woman, and Chappell Roan being up there and talking about artistry things, and then Doechii being the first, and like out of 3 women in that like 3 women have won it overall in that rap category. She's the first in how many years to win it. Like, so I feel like there was still some high points there.
Yeah. Less than a quarter of all nominees in 6 major categories were women. There's declines for women overall noted in record and song of the year and best new artist categories, yet increases occurred in songwriter of the year and producer of the year. And so producer, it's actually the first time since 2019 that a woman was nominated for producer.
Oh, wow.
And it reflects...
Who was the producer? Do you have that?
No. Okay. It reflects only the second nomination for a woman since the inception of this report. Not the award, this report. There's a difference. As with popularity, taste and judgments related to excellence can vary from year to year and be reflected in nominations. What is critical is that the percentage of women, which has improved since 2012, continues to grow over time. So that's kind of the conclusion stuff, but then they also had like recommendations for change, which I liked, so I included that stuff too. Each song presents an opportunity for women. Just under half of songs in 2024 did not feature a woman songwriter or producer. This offers tremendous scope for women to be involved behind the scenes in writing and production roles and credited for their contributions when they occur. Women artists in particular can invite other women into their creative process. Some already do this, and it's critical for decision makers and gatekeepers in the industry to value, support, and encourage this decision. While men are certainly not exempt from working with women, our previous research demonstrates the threats to women in unsafe environments in the music industry are significant. Until women's safety can be assured, working collaboratively with other women and men is necessary. Support pipeline programs for women in music. As in previous reports, we continue to believe that bolstering the pipeline for women working as songwriters and producers is a critical need. While there are many qualified and talented women already in the industry, raising up the next generation of talent should also be a priority. Programs such as Women's Audio Mission train producers, and Spotify's Equal program offers necessary exposure to women as they navigate their careers. I forgot that this was in here. She Is the Music continues to conduct songwriting camps and support hiring women and increasing the number of women working in the industry as a whole. The investments made in these programs provide two particular benefits beyond the impact they can have on the numbers in this report. First, they target particular areas of the industry where opportunity for women continues to be scarce. Second, they signal to women entering the industry that they are welcome and that there is support for their work and their voices. Over time, these programs should yield a significant influx of women into the industry across a variety of professional roles. And then the last one is upend the barriers that still face women. The data in the report makes it clear women still face barriers entering and working in the industry as songwriters and producers. To widen the opportunities women experience, dealing with those barriers is vital. This means finding more ways for women's talents to be recognized so they can be connected to the networks of influence that provide access to jobs and eventually high-profile work that can place them on the year-end charts. In our prior work, women told us their skills and abilities were doubted. Acknowledging women through awards like the Grammys for their achievements in music is one way to dispel the myth that women are less talented than men. So, I liked that they included stuff instead of just being like, here's the statistics at the end.
Well, I think it's just important to note that it's not a let's hate on men club ever. It's but if you see a female songwriter or a female artist that you like, support them. Don't just assume that everyone else will and that you'll see them when they're in their big time. Because it may never happen. Really invest now. If you're on TikTok and you hear a song you really like, again, it doesn't really matter, but that's the best way to support them is liking the video, sharing it to your friends, And
that's free.
Yeah,
it's a free thing you can do. You don't even have to spend money to do that. So, because I feel like that's a thing sometimes is people just don't want to spend money, which I get it. So those are free ways to support.
And women artists a lot of times want to create safe spaces for everyone at their concerts. We want a big family hug. It's not there's no hostility necessarily in the crowds, where
I got distracted. It said Lollapalooza with an E at the end instead of A, and I was like, that needs to be fixed. That I guess that goes into our next thing is my little last bit is just I found an article. I don't love the title of the article, but it's called 2024's Overachieving Women in Music, and I don't like the word overachieving because it makes it sound like you're doing too much. But you're not doing too much. This is just women who
have gone above and beyond, fortunately.
and have just killed it. So the first one on the list was Billie Eilish with Birds of a Feather was the most streamed song of 2024 on Spotify. So that's cool. It had... Sorry, I had to look at this number and figure out where I'm at. 1,775,172,881 streams in 2024. And then Taylor Swift's Eras Tour became highest grossing tour of all time, generating over $2.2 billion in ticket sales, nearly double the previous highest grossing tour. And also her Eras Tour film became the all-time highest grossing concert film by January of 2024. So technically it's in 2024, so they included it, earning $261.6 million globally. And then we have Queen of Music Festivals in 2024, Chappell Roan. Pollstar stated about her festival draw, quote, Lollapalooza, Bonnaroo, and Austin City Limits, all of which experienced what were believed to be stage records when she performed, end quote. So she was just killing it with the festivals. Well, even and Bonnaroo, just like a lot of people.
Yeah, I went to Bonnaroo and they had her on a small stage, and then they realized they like physically, with all the attention she had gotten, like they were like, we physically have to put her on a different stage or else it's going to cause mayhem. So
well, I think of like, because there's stuff that gets booked so far in advance, and then an artist might blow up by the time they actually get to the show. And I feel like that probably is what happened with when Hunter Hayes was at my hometown fair, because like people lined up at 8 a.m. to get in. Oh and the line was like all the way to the back of the fairgrounds. My dad and I walked next to the line when it started moving, and just like, wait.
That's awful.
We were still in the very top of the bleachers, so I don't know if we would have gotten in if we went to the way back. I don't know. Yeah. Whoops. It's fine. It's fine.
The difference between the Midwest and the Northeast, that never would have flown with us.
Yeah, but I feel like they probably booked him before Wanted and stuff blew up. I feel like
that was like over 10 years ago at this point. I know.
I think it was probably just Wanted blew up. But yeah. Where are we? In February 2024, Beyonce became the first Black woman to top Billboard's Hot Country Songs chart with Texas Hold'em. And other records with the smash hit include first woman to hit number 1 on 7 of Billboard's song charts as a solo artist, which is Hot 100, Hot Country Songs, Hot Dance/Electronic Songs, Hot Gospel Songs, Hot Latin Songs, Hot R&B Songs, and Hot R&B/Hip Hop Songs. Only Justin Bieber has led more hybrid song charts with 8. So she's just like one away from tying with him. And she's the first woman to top both Hot Country Songs and Hot R&B/Hip Hop Songs since the charts launched in 1958.
Yes, I did know.
And she joins Taylor Swift as the only solo woman to debut at number 1 on the Billboard's Hot Country Songs chart. So, lots of cool records and firsts and stuff with Texas Hold'em. And I want to say we talked about the Billboard's Women of the Year and Women in Music awards show last year, because it had happened at that point when we recorded. I want to say it's at the end of the month, so they haven't announced their Woman of the Year for 2025, but it was Karol G last year, which the international Latina sensation has charted a whopping 63 songs on the Hot Latin Songs chart, 8 being number 1 hits, and her album Mañana Será Bonito hit number 1 on Billboard's Top 200, the first all Spanish language album to do so by a female artist. So that's cool too. So I figured we kind of briefly mentioned her, but it was on the list, so it was like, we'll shout her out again. But yeah, those were my little, I guess, highlights of last year for Women in Music. So yeah, that's all I had for us. But you have any closing thoughts?
I don't think so. I had something, but I forgot it. So
okay, that's fair. If you have thoughts, you can comment them, or you can send them to the Music Lens Podcast at gmail.com. You can check us out on our socials at the Music Lens Podcast. Follow Alex. I try to say follow and Alex at the same time. Follow Alex at Alex Allegra Music on all the socials, and follow me at Katie Fee Music on all the socials. And happy Women's History Month. Yes, we will see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.